to this weekend. We've got Kingslayer MCOC joining us with JAX. Thank you both for joining me this weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. So I know it's pretty early over there where you're at. We'll try not to hold your morning up too long. So when did you start playing MCOC, and kind of how did you start creating content with it?
So I started like I don't first downloaded it when I was going on a train journey. Like I was just mass downloading a lot of games from the Play Store, and like at that time I didn't even play it on that trip. But once I was back, I was like clearing my phone, uninstalling those games, and I thought it's worth giving it a shot. And then I just really enjoyed it. First at the start, I started playing it for the story, and then it was just like about alliance and the gameplay and stuff. So here we are. And content wise, like I uploaded occasionally, then I deleted all those videos when I actually started about a year ago on 12th April. And that was mostly because of the lockdown, and I didn't have anything to do at that time, so I just thought about uploading videos. And started just like casually, but then started doing it every single day. And now, like, again, we're not even 1 year yet, and I've uploaded more than 400 videos. And the response has been really, really nice as well. Like, we've grown at a really nice pace at the moment. We are at almost 4,300 subscribers, so yeah.
That's awesome. So when did you start your YouTube channel, and what kind of content do you focus on?
So um like, again, I uploaded the occasional video without any commentary or anything even before this, but mainly I'd say I started on 12th April last year. And content wise, it's not very detailed guides kind of stuff. It's mostly just for fun. Like, damage comparison is probably my most common series, where it's basically just picture in picture. We have two characters seeing who finishes first. It's not always scientific. I try to make it as like as fair as possible, with the mastery setups and everything. But other than that, like, I revisit a lot of like rank up and gameplay kind of type videos and stuff,
Okay.
and also tier
So
lists and stuff.
so are you part of the CCP?
I am.
Okay. Um so what kind of drew you to applying to the CCP, and what kind of are your goals for the CCP?
So I always wanted to be a part of the program, like, ever since it was released. But then the content creator program beta thing, I saw that, and that was like, I would really like that. That would just make life so much easier to make content, because I was doing a lot of gameplay videos at that time and using, energy refills and stuff that I already done. And I'm not a like very end game type player who has done everything. Like, I still have Act 6 exploration to do and stuff. So that was definitely nice. And overall, I just feel like the program, it just gives you, like, you can just give your feedback and help, like, contribute in any way to this game. And we have been playing it for a very long time, so yeah.
That's awesome. So I noticed with some of your content that you do, like your damage comparison videos, you do like comparison on suicides versus no suicides. Which, in your opinion, do you think is better, and why?
It depends. Like, there was a time where I was basically running suicides all the time, but now, because like, war is a thing and we are pushing an alliance war, so just changing it constantly, it just takes a lot of like, suicide masteries are definitely powerful. I don't think anyone doubts that. There are so many. Like, back in the day, we used to have characters, like, when we used to say suicide friendly, it just meant that they were immune to one of the debuffs, or maybe had some kind of regeneration. But now we have characters like Black Widow, Clairvoyant, Ghost, or uh, like Angela now, who they don't take any of the negative effects of the mastery, and they gain all the positive, like the bonus damage. So uh, like, depending on what your priorities are, if you are not focused on lance war, if you're like maybe running map 7 using a Corvus Glaive, uh, depending on that, you should probably run season masteries. I think you should have them unlocked, I'd say that.
Okay. So, about how many units do you spend changing your masteries for videos?
I don't anymore because in CCP beta, like it's free. You can just do it anytime
Oh, okay.
without.
Yeah, duh, that makes sense. Um, so, with your newest video, the Rocket Raccoon video, you do kind of talk about like some sort of buffs for him. What would you like to see happen to Rocket Raccoon?
So like he still has pretty decent damage like every single time if we were playing around with the 565 character with some synergies non-boosted and against like Labyrinth of Religions, Old Man Logan, he was hitting the damage cap on these special tools. So I think he already has some decent damage with the Hit Monkey synergy. When he had two armor breaks, he was hitting like 10k mediums. He definitely needs more health. He's very squishy glass cannon type character, and he also needs a lot more utility. I think that would go well with his like because he has all these gadgets, so giving him utility makes sense, I guess. So yeah, something similar to the Angela buff where she already had damage, so now they gave her utility. That would be really good for a character like Rocket Raccoon.
Okay. Um, Jax, you got anything, bud?
Yeah, man. So yeah, Rocket Raccoon's cool. You said utility. That would be interesting because he's such a tiny little creature. It's hard to give him utility for sure. Um, Utility. I could see like a force field, like something like a device. Like I feel like Rocket can just play with so many devices. That'd be so cool to see. But yeah, he still hits like a truck, like you said. So yeah. Um, yeah, so you said you were part of the CCP. Is there something you would like to see from the CCP be improved? Or any we've had a couple CCP members on, and they've always said that there's something they want to improve. Is there something you wanted to improve from the CCP?
Yeah, like I was watching some of the past interviews and something Royal said, I think. I'm not sure, but he said like when we get the characters and when the gameplay come out, there's not enough time to actually like we give feedback, but they can't really do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pretty good example is Immortal Hulk. I'd say they did end up changing like his rage stacks. They earlier didn't pause when the opponent's using a special attack, and that was a pretty big problem when you're fighting a character, even let's say Winter Soldier in Realm of Legends, because his SP2 is kind of long. So while you are just blocking, that you are losing all your damage. So they did end up making that change. That's the only change. Like since I have been a member of the program. I think I joined in November, and Immortal Hulk, Immortal Abomination were my first two characters there. But since then, like basically that has been the only change that happened during that month. And like and then we see the Mole Man Terex kind of buffs, a year later. So I'd say like if they give us access to the character a little bit earlier so that they can actually make some changes based on the feedback, then that would be better because that would just avoid a lot of trouble in the upcoming years. Because characters like I don't know Odin and especially Psycho Man, they I think they will need a buff at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Nova as well. Like these are kind of like brand new characters that you're gonna have to give them a buff. I mean, Odin's getting a buff in May, so like it's kind of crazy that they're creating these characters and they're automatically buffing
Like,
them.
like I get that every character is not supposed to be this crazy broken OP
Mm-hmm.
character, but like you have to make them at least usable, at least as good as the characters that they are buffing now, so that there's some reason to grind for them or be excited about them. Because right now, like new characters, generally speaking, like when I was not making content, I used to watch the videos about like how to fight them basically, and that's it. Because I knew like I'm not a whale. I don't go after these crystals. I don't really do arena that much either. So I'm probably not going to get these characters for another year. So I didn't really care that much about them. I really like the old featured crystal because then I used to really care and see what this character can do. Do I want him on my roster? And then if I did, then I saved up my shards for it. Like when you had 20-25% chance to get one particular character. And I guess like right now also, if I want a few characters in the featured pool, then I'll save up shards. But other than that, like I'm like besides content, as a viewer, I'm not really that interested in newer characters, which is kind of sad because that has always been a huge part of MCOC.
Yeah, I've kind of felt that way too, especially because like I'm super interested in like the buffs because like you said, you're not going to get the new characters for like a year, so that's why I'm excited for the buffs because I already have that character. So it's kind of so interesting that the power dynamic when it comes to playing the new champs. It's interesting.
Yeah. So is there any of the newer champs that you think should be buffed, like Odin, like right away? I mean,
I think Psycho Man could use it. Like his damage output without, I think Mangok gave him a synergy which increases it, but on his own, his damage was really low.
Hmm.
Like I was playing around with him, and he was probably the only character where I just wanted to quit out, even against Realm of Legends with the Soldier, which is like for 565 characters or rank 3 characters, it's an easy fight. It doesn't even take that many, like 50, 70 hits maybe. But with Psycho Man, whenever like he has a damage rotation where he can get 2 Furies, and there his damage output is alright, but you know, then you don't get the utility, and then why would you want to use a character where you have to go for a rotation to get average, slightly above average damage? So yeah, I think he can definitely get benefit from a boost in numbers.
okay. So out of the champions, what? So we've had like, 6 champions so far released this year. Which one do you think is the best?
Strife probably. Like it depends with Strife. If you don't have an Aegon, then he can have such a massive impact on your roster. But if you already do, then like I saw a lot of people who already have done Abyss and stuff, then they didn't really care about him that much. But for a person like me, like I really now that I have Aegon, but Strife, he definitely was the best character in the year so far, in my opinion.
Okay.
Nice.
Um, that's awesome. Uh, so how, when did you say you started playing again? I'm sorry.
Like about 5 years ago.
Okay. So, is there any piece of content that you would like to see come back?
I really like the boss rushes and like variants, boss rushes, and celebrity challenges. These are the three pieces of content that I really enjoy. And variants, they at this point, like we know that we are going to get variant 7 at some point, and then variant 8 and stuff like that. But with boss rushes, they're just really random at this moment, and I would really like something similar to what they did last year, where we have 5, 6 boss rushes and then one big mega boss rush kind of stuff. I really enjoyed that, and that was a great month for my channel also. Like I basically doubled my subscribers.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, your growth has been awesome, dude.
Yeah, can't complain. Like when I started, my goal for my first year probably was to get monetized and to get into the CCP. And I achieved both those goals in the first 4 or 5 months. So 6 months, let's say. But yeah, I'm really happy with my progression.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations on that. So, with that, which champion has been the most fun to test from the CCP beta?
Spider Ham probably. Like Spider Ham, he was just a lot of fun generally. Like his damage, his playstyle, animations. He was just a very fun character overall. I don't think he was the best character that I tested. That was probably Immortal Abomination. So again, Immortal Hulk, Immortal Abomination, Spider Ham, then Jubilee, Strife, Psycho Man and Super Skrull, and then now Odin Mangok. So yeah, I'd say Ibom was probably the strongest, but I had most fun with Spider Ham.
Awesome. Okay. Do you actually got anything else over there?
Yeah, man. So what is one character you would like to add to the game?
So I don't know that much about comics, but from the MCU, I'd say um, like a new Thor with Stormbreaker or Captain America. Um, Other than that, like I really want that Scarlet Witch to be playable.
Okay, Sigil.
The
Sweet.
sigil. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned the new Thor. So this is pretty cool because we actually were told, I think about like 2 years ago, kind of like right around Endgame, that Caban Gabe, the art director of the game, said that a new Thor was coming to the game, but it would be post Endgame. And so, we eventually will get a new Thor and an MCU Thor version as well. So I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, like I had high expectations from Thor Ragnarok, but he really disappointed because Thor Ragnarok, the movie itself was a really like before that Thor series, it wasn't that interesting. The Thor Ragnarok was definitely like if you're talking about the standalone MCU films, for me at least, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, dude, that is my favorite MCU film. I love that movie so much. And yeah, I was, yeah, yeah, Thor Ragnarok is a weird character compared to the movie in some aspects, but yeah.
Okay. So, with that being said, do you think there could be a buff to Thor Ragnarok in the future?
I would really like that because, like, when he was released, he had at least one purpose in the game, which was prestige. But right now, I don't think he. I see some rank 3, 6 star Thor Ragnaroks on defense, but other than that, like, offensively, I don't think he
Yeah.
has that much use. OG Thor, on the other hand, like, I recently did, when Odin was released, I did a Odin versus OG Thor damage comparison, and he still. He benefits a lot from some synergies, but even without synergies, if you have him at a high signature level, he still hits kind of hard.
Oh yeah.
Talk about OG Thor.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So, who is your favorite synergy to play with?
Probably Ghost with the Hood synergy because then you can tank specials and everything. It's a very powerful synergy in my opinion. Probably the strongest in the game.
Yeah. So with that being said, do you think that they're gonna give Hood the justice that he deserves?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
definitely will.
Me too. Um. So what kind of war and or alliance quest do you run?
So right now I'm in a Platinum 2 Map 5 Alliance. I've done Map 7 as well. I have been in Platinum 1 as well. But overall, like I personally I prefer Alliance War to Alliance Quest because Alliance Quest it just feels like a show at this point.
Okay. So are you a boss killer in your war group or quest group?
No, probably not. Like I help with Mini Island, but I haven't really taken. I've taken a few thing bosses, but like with Stubborn, with Void, but other than that, like I don't. I wouldn't say I am a boss killer.
Okay. So have you ever made a grind for a featured 5 star or 4 star?
Not a 5 star. I have gone for 4 star characters, like featured 4 stars as well. And I remember, like back in the day, I really went for 4 star Voodoo, and 4 star characters they refresh kind of early. So I had 2 3 hours alarm set, and I was like, I really went for him, and that is probably still my highest PvP streak. But like at
Okay.
this point, like going for 5 star feature, like they don't really, unless it's a very very powerful character who has something like maybe if a character like Nick Fury or someone who can bring a lot of utility for even other players or some great synergy. That is the only scenario where I would even consider going for a 5 star featured rank. Because otherwise, like it doesn't. I have kind of stopped ranking up 5 stars. Like the only rank up, the only character that I took to 565 in the last few months has been Scarlet Witch, and that's because it was just a mostly just a fun rank up.
Okay. So this question's been kind of popping around Twitter a lot. How do you define utility and what how do you use a champion's utility?
Utility, like to me, utility is like power control, having armor, basically having uses besides damage and immunities. I'd say some people could consider immunities and utility as well, I guess. But to me, utility is like power control, defensive ability reduction, having armor breaks or something like that.
Okay. All right. Jax, you got anything else?
Yeah. So imagine Jim says, who is your most slept on character in MCOC?
I'd say Black Bolt with synergies used to be. It could be Korg with some synergies. He's really really good. Also, like if you're just talking about themselves, like without any crazy synergies, then I really like Mephisto. I think he's underrated.
Oh,
He
nice.
was my first 5-star featured character. He was my first 565 character. He was my first 200 5-star character. So I really like Mephisto.
So, is there a reason why you like Mephisto better more than other champions?
Like I think he can just do a lot of stuff, and if you have a developed roster, like now I don't use him that much. Besides, sometimes I place him on defense, but besides that, I don't use him that much because I have a very good Mystic roster at this point. But initially, like when he was my first 565 character, I used him in basically everything, and he did it well because he has the cheat death mechanic, he has buff control, he has a little bit of power control on his SP3 once per fight, but like basically he can do a lot of stuff. Plus triple immunities is nice to have. He's more like a he doesn't have damage without synergies. With damage, with some synergies, his damage also is kind of nice, especially with the champion synergy. But on his own, just the utility that he brings, he can just check a lot of boxes. Kind of the same way I feel about uh, like Mystic Ghost Rider.
Okay. So is there any champion that you feel is overpowered?
Overpowered, I'd say, like in the right hands, Ghost or Quake could be, but other than that, like there are definitely some characters, like let's say Doctor Doom. He has damage, he has power control, he can deal with buffs. On defense, he's solid. He has great prestige as well. So he's a very like when we have characters like Doctor Doom, and then we get characters like let's say who's a character recently added who just has one of these things. Let's say Nova, who if you see his like the main use I see for Nova is on defense. So that kind of like uh, the fact that you have a character who's great at basically everything in the game, and then you have a character who is just like the main reason to get the character is just for defense. So I say in that sense, Doom could be overpowered.
Nice. What's one character you'd like to see buffed?
Probably Groot. Like when I started playing the game, I had watched Guardians of the Galaxy recently, and he's definitely my favorite character in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I wasn't really when I got him, I was really excited about it. I wasn't playing very seriously back then, so I didn't watch YouTube videos and stuff. So I was very happy to pull him, and then I played with him, and it was like I didn't even realize that he was bad for a very long time. I was like, oh, regeneration on the SP2, cool.
Yeah, he was my first 4-star back in the day.
Yeah, I got him pretty early on as well.
Jim says you can only buff one of the following three. Who gets it? Iron Man, Iron Patriot, or Superior Iron Man?
I have a 6-star superior Iron Man, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I'll also go with that.
Okay.
I think Iron Patriot needed more though.
Yeah, there's some cool ways. Yeah, imagine Jim has a group buff. What would you like to see in a group buff?
I don't know, like he currently like I did make a Groot versus King Groot damage comparison lately. He kind of he surprised me a little bit, like with his Furies. He was. I also had Odin pre-fight, so maybe that was because of that. But he was able to hit like a 7,000 medium attack, and that was kind of cool. Like when he had Furies, but I would like to see either very strong Furies for a short duration of time, or similar level Furies, or a little bit stronger for the entire duration of the fight. A little bit more sustainability as well.
Okay.
Like with the regeneration on this SP2, it's kind of weak at the moment.
Yeah. So with the new buffs coming to Black Panther and or Miles, what could you see coming with those?
The Black Panther, I say he would have like a lot of critical leads probably if I had to guess. He will still stay a very damage focused character in my opinion. Like I haven't, we don't really know anything about it, but if I had to guess, I'd say Black Panther would be a very high damage output character. he still can do pretty decent with some symmetries, I think.
So
But yeah,
do you think that'll be a value update buff since you think it's just damage that he needs?
like every character can benefit from some added utility as well. But I think he like at the end of the day, he might get some utility, but he would be a very bleed focused character. With he has to have critical bleed or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I would love. I'm super interested to see because, my thought next month. Hopefully, we'll get a Marvel Realm of Champions month like we did last year, and I was thinking that they'll have the one of the buffs will be Black Panther Classic. So I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
That'd be
so
nice.
something I was kind of wanting to go back to. Iron Man and Superior Iron Man are pretty much carbon copies of each other. Do you think Superior Iron Man or Iron Man himself could get a new an overhaul?
Yes.
Yeah, with situations like these, I'd say they should buff them at the same time, kind of similar to how they did with Magneto. But we have a lot of characters who are very similar, like who is it? Captain, the OG, the other two Captain Americas, they're kind of
World
similar,
War II and everything.
and
Yeah,
the Captain Marvels, like Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, they're basically the same character.
Yeah.
yeah. So with those, what would you like to see come to one or the other's kit?
I'm not sure. Like Iron Man, he he I'd say he would be a utility based character. Like Iron Man Infinity War is really nice in my opinion. He can again check a lot of boxes and I like that in a character. So I'd say Iron Man he should have a lot of utility with all the technology and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause like you look at the movies and he assesses his threat, and so he'll use whatever he has in his armory. And so I think that obviously they can give him utility. Like if he's going against a mystic, he'll use like in the comics he'll use like a mystic nullifying armor or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's some cool stuff they could do with Iron Man for sure.
That would be cool.
And yeah, so I said that like Black Panther might get a buff next month since that's confirmed, but Iron Man as well as those two characters, Black Panther and Iron Man, those characters are in MROC and there's a connection to them on the Marvel Contest Champion State of the Battle Realm where it shows a connection to MCOC and MROC. So we have an MROC event coming out this year with the Iron Legionnaire character and the Black Panther character. So that's kind of why I see and why I hope for some buffs and obviously maybe those characters coming into the contest.
Awesome. So, do you have any new ideas for the future of your channel?
Like I always try to do try different series and see what works, what doesn't, and yeah, at the moment I am working on the 1 year anniversary video where it should be pretty cool. It would be like a combination of a Q&A, crystal opening, account to it will have basically everything. So yeah, at the moment I'm working on that, but like I have tried. I think the most creative thing that I've tried on the channel so far. So I watched Suits, and I was really interested in the law thing while I was watching the show. So I made a video about Archangel versus the community, something like that. It was a court case, kind of like I had pictures of a court. I had Archangel standing in the witness box, and then I called Magneto. I had Aunt May up there. The video itself didn't do that much, like that well, but basically it was the argument there was I myself don't believe it to be honest, but that the number of medal characters in the game and the number of non-bleeding immune poison characters in the game, it's a very I say 30% something characters in the game are medal. They just happen to be very good defenders for some reason. But then when we're talking about bleeding immune poisoning characters or some characters who are both, there are decent like 65-70% of the characters where you can use Archangel, and when you can use Archangel, with the only exception of Cable, I don't think that many characters can counter him, and he just melts them all. And there are some nodes where he won't really work, like cornered and stuff. But Archangel right now, like he is definitely my go-to character. Whenever I'm using a team of five, he manages to be in that.
Nice. So, what advice would you give to a new creator that's just starting out?
So for new creator, let's say definitely like don't focus on getting the videos out first, because usually like a lot of people, they just want to make they want their first video to be perfect, and because of that, like I'd say it's better to just post videos and then learn while you are creating, because then that way you can also get a lot of feedback from the audience, where you can improve. Also, like I'd say consistency is kind of important in like being a gaming YouTuber. I'd say people kind of expect regular content, because you don't like making videos on YouTube. It doesn't take that long. Of course, there are very detailed guides which will take a lot of editing and stuff, but I'd say consistency is definitely number one. And like I upload more than 400 videos in not even a year, uh, and I think that really helped me. And when I see my first video, it's so bad. It had a watermark. The audio is horrible. There's basically no editing at all. Even the thumbnail is not good quality. So, like I'd say, as you upload, you definitely start to understand what you have to do. Also, I'd say have look at 4 or 5 other creators. It doesn't only apply to MCOC. If you are making content on any game, just take a look at 5 6 creators, um, who are doing well making content. So for me, uh, and also like then I used to go to oldest videos, and I saw how they started, how they improved, what was the point that was what like every single creator, if you go from oldest to newest, they have that one video that did so well. And what people usually like, a lot of people would say that that was just luck, that was that one video that did very well, and brought that creator into the spotlight and everything. But it's usually like, from what I've seen, it's not about when you get lucky with the video. It's not about if you get lucky with the video. It's about when you get lucky with the video. So as long as you keep making content, there will be one video which will do well than others, and it will get you discovered, and then you go from there. And always be willing to try new content, so that also make sure that you are doing something different than other people, because that's the only way. Like, you have to convince people at the start, especially to like, you have to convince them that your channel and your videos are worth their time. And that doesn't happen on like very easily. You have to work a lot for that. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thanks, man. How do you deal with the toxicity in the MCOC community?
So like, there are always some comments that I'd say every single day when I wake up, the first thing I usually do is check comments, and there will always be that one mean comment. But then there are also 50, 70 positive comments for that one mean comment. So I try to focus more on that. But then there are, like, I'd say most people do that. But then there are some days when you're waking up and the first comment that you see is someone like saying your content sucks or something. And yeah, it can definitely get us some days, but usually just when I look at negative comment, I see, do they have some valuable feedback attached to it? Like, if someone just says your video sucks, and that really doesn't tell me anything about my content, like where to improve. But if it's something like your mm, you should do more editing, or you should focus on this more or that more, you can try this, then like I think those are the most valuable comments you can get. They're definitely more valuable than even the positive comments, because they can actually tell you how to improve. Because at certain point, like, you see so many positive comments that you just get lost in them, and you forget that you should always try to improve, and there is always something that you can do that other creators will do. And then, like I say, YouTube in general, if we see 4 or 5 years back, and now the quality has changed so much. Like right now, if we look at top YouTubers, it's just very professional, even from everything. So I say, yeah, make sure, like, if you're really taking a comment seriously, make sure that it actually has some constructive feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think Jax, do you have anything else?
Yeah, man. So Kingslayer, do you play Marvel Realm of Champions at all?
I have it downloaded. I have played it a little bit. I haven't played it in a while though. I used to play it every single day when it was released for a month maybe. But then right now, like, that happens with every game. Marvel Contest of Champions has been the only mobile game that I've played for more than a couple of months.
Wow.
Okay. So with that being said, did you enjoy playing Realm of Champions at all, or did you just
I
not
don't
play
think
it?
it's. I played it, and I like played it with a lot of different characters there, but it, I just kind of get bored of stuff like that. Where even like with the shooting games and stuff, it's just the same match. We have some different maps, you have some different game modes, sure, but I don't know. I get bored easily. But Marvel Contest of Champions, for somehow, it has kept me interested throughout the years. But the Realm of Champions, like, it. I like it, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not interested enough to log into it every single day.
All right. Is there like a particular reason why it didn't grab your interest, or more than MCOC?
I'm not really sure. like,
Just
for some reason, like, MCOC probably it's just a very complex game. Like, we have so much to do, and like, I haven't reached a point where I've done everything. In MCOC, there always something to plan, and like, playing by in my experience at least, I like planning stuff more than actually doing it.
mhm.
If you're talking about stuff like abyss runs and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. Marvel Realm of Champions is definitely not my type of game. I gave it a try because it was made by the same people, and I can see why others would like it, but I don't.
Okay. So what type of content are you planning for now?
Abyss second part. I've just done the easy part so far. I need to explore it, and I'm kind of considering doing Act 7 exploration first because I'm really close to taking my 6-star Doom to rank 3, and that would benefit me in Abyss. So I'm thinking of doing that first and then going back to Abyss.
Okay. Awesome. Is there any type of preparations you're taking before you enter the abyss?
I still need to grind a lot of units. Like, there was a time, so it's weird. Like, I am a student, so at the moment when we have classes and I'm making content, I don't really have time for arena. But then we have these long breaks between semesters where I'm grinding arena really really hard. So for those for that like month, and I'll probably need to get a lot more units, and then I can do it. Like, I have the roster. I got pretty lucky. I have all the horsemen and stuff.
Okay. Are you gonna stream your second abyss run?
I want to, but at the same time, like, I haven't streamed anything that long, so I don't know if I can even sit because when I did my first path, and when I usually do these long pieces of content, labyrinth or abyss, I usually don't play more than 1 hour at a time, or maybe 2 hours at a time. Then I just take a break, and that way I think it's more efficient also, because otherwise, like, I don't know. I want to do a stream, and just generally I want to do more streams, but I'm not sure if I can, because usually when I'm playing, it's not like in one sitting. I'm doing some fights, and I'm going for my classes, and then I'm coming back, then doing some more fights and stuff like that. So Probably like if it's during my semester break, then I will probably stream it. But otherwise, it will probably a little bit hard to do.
Okay. Um, JX, you got anything else?
That's all my notes, man.
All right. Yeah, dude. If you want to plug anything, go for it, dude.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot today. I
Okay.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who says long live the empire? um, yeah, dude. Well, once again, thanks for coming out here. I know it's early for you, it's late for us, so we'll go ahead and dip on out. Thanks again, Kingslayer, everybody in chat, Jay, for joining me this evening, and Kingslayer's morning. Um, all right. Well, have a good night, everybody.